The last faction rally for Season 2 of Destiny 2 is just about to launch, and today we are going to be taking a look at all 3 of the new prize weapons for each of the different factions, to help you guys decide which faction to align with and which one to spend most time grinding for. And so, let's get started. What is up, guys? Rick Cacus here, and today we are going to be comparing the stats and the perks of these 3 new prize weapons. Now, although these weapons are not in the game right now, they are available within the Destiny database, so we can take a look at these weapons. And because the D2 weapon system is rather simplistic, we will very easily be able to tell where these weapons will lie in-game. And so, let's get started. Now, the Future War Cult faction has never won a faction rally. Is this finally going to be the time they can turn things around? Well, let's start by looking at Future War Cult's prize offering. The prize weapon here is the Domino Legendary Sniper Rifle. Now, taking a look at the stats here, this has a rounds per minute of 90, and that puts it right in the middle of the road for sniper rifle archetypes. Other snipers that belong to this archetype include the Maxim, which is a new Monarchy sniper rifle, pretty popular in PvP, and a single clap. Those are all 90 rounds per minute, so it's a pretty common archetype. Now, as for the rest of the stats, nothing really stands out. Comparing it here to the Maxim, you can see it has a little bit less range, but a little bit more stability. Reload speed and handling are pretty much in line with what you find within this archetype. The one stat that does significantly differentiate itself from the Maxim is the aim assistance, which of course, for a sniper rifle is actually a pretty big deal. The Domino has a pretty high aim assistance of 62. Now, the single clap has 59, so it's not outrageously high for its category, but it is pretty darn high. Now, let's take a look at its perks. Firstly, the Domino has Adaptive Frame, a well-rounded grip, reliable, and sturdy. It's got 2 different sights, and importantly, it has a short zoom sight. Then we've got Flared Magwell, increasing the reload, and Alloy Magazine, also increasing the reload. The final perk here is Pulse Monitor, which will auto-reload your magazine when critically wounded. Unfortunately, Pulse Monitor is just not a very good perk. It's not really what you're looking for when you're looking for sniper rifles. And the reason the Maxim is, relatively higher used for a sniper rifle is because it's the same archetype, and it has a short zoom sight, and very importantly, it has snapshot sights, so it'll aim down sights faster. That's a very competitive PvP perk. Pulse Monitor is not a very competitive anything perk. And so therefore, the Domino, although it does have decent stats with aim assistance standing out, it doesn't have anything phenomenal in terms of its perks, which is certainly a downside. Right now, it's not looking too good for Future War Cult. But let's move on, because we actually have another sniper rifle on offer with Dead Orbit's prize weapon. Now, Dead Orbit is offering the Distant Tumulus Legendary Sniper Rifle, and looking at the stats here, it is quite different. It belongs to the fastest firing 140 rounds per minute sniper rifle archetype. So, something comparable is the Alone as a God Raid Sniper Rifle, which does see a relatively high amount of play. Now, in terms of other standout stats, when we compare this to the Alone as a God, the Distant Tumulus has worse range, worse stability, worse reload speed, worse handling, worse aim assistance, pretty much worse everything. It just loses in every single important statistic when compared to the Alone as a God. So that is just not a good thing. If you have the Alone as a God, you are really not looking to acquire this weapon whatsoever unless it does have standout perks. Well, does it? Taking a look here, firstly we have a rapid fire frame, which every gun of this archetype does have, deeper ammo reserves, slightly faster reload when magazine is empty. Then we've got 3 different ballistic choices, and right after that we have the choice between number 1, flared magwell, increasing the reload, and number 2, extended magazine. That's interesting. Extended Mag is undoubtedly a very powerful perk for a sniper rifle to have. You absolutely would want every sniper rifle you could get your hands on to have extended magazine. But unfortunately, right after that, we have, again, Pulse Monitor. And again, this is just not a very good perk compared to some of the other perks you have on offer for sniper rifles. So, Extended Mag is really the perk that is carrying this weapon. It's the only good perk the Distant Tumulus has. Now, the Alone as a God has 2 main perks because it is a raid sniper rifle. It has triple tap, which gives you an extra round into your magazine if you land 3 precision shots, and this is going to somewhat act like an extended magazine for PvE encounters mainly, but it also has snapshot sights. So, it's kind of up to you. If you want an Alone as a God that always gets more ammunition with extended mag, then the Distant might actually be a reasonable choice. But losing out on snapshot sights, personally, I would never make that choice. It's gonna be an Alone as a God every single time if I need a sniper within this archetype. But it is time to move on and take a look at new Monarchy's offering. The prize weapon here is the Interference 6 Legendary Grenade Launcher. And taking a look at the stats here, it belongs to the 120 rounds per minute archetype. This is right in the middle of the road for its capacity of 6 rounds. Sometimes you'll find usually Omalon grenade launchers that shoot 100 rounds per minute and do a little bit more damage, and then you'll also find other grenade launchers that shoot faster at 150 rounds per minute and do less damage. So again, this lies in the middle for its capacity. A comparable gun is the play of the game Crucible grenade launcher, which actually does see a reasonable amount of play. Definitely did more when the colony wasn't in the game. But taking a look at the rest of the stats here, unfortunately, yet again, things don't look too pretty. And when we compare it to the play of the game, we see just that. Velocity is quite a bit less, stability is a tiny bit more, reload and handling pretty much identical, aim assistance, actually loses out to the play of the game, and therefore we have a pretty mediocre grenade launcher in terms of statistics within its archetype. But does it have good perks to make up for this? Well, firstly, we have Adaptive Frame. Then we've got 3 different ballistics, including Hard Launch, which is generally a pretty popular one. Then we've got Implosion Rounds. This weapon's projectiles travel faster and have a controlled explosion, increases projectile speed, greatly increases stability, but at the cost of blast radius. Then we have Alloy Casting, which is going to increase your reload speed. And finally, we have Field Prep, which does increase ammo reserves, which is undoubtedly a powerful thing to have, especially in PvE, and it makes you reload faster when crouched, which is a little negligible. So, are these perks any good? Well, not really. The play of the game is a popular grenade launcher because it has proximity grenades, which makes it so that you can shoot just past someone in PvP and the grenades will still explode and hit them. Honestly, if it wasn't for the colony, the play of the game would probably be the best grenade launcher for PvP. But the colony exists and the play of the game exists, which makes the interference not look so hot. It also doesn't have really anything that substantially makes it a high contender for PvE. Now again, Field Prep is actually not bad for PvE, allowing you to store more ammo in reserve and then unload it all on a boss, but there are kind of better options out there within grenade launchers, and frankly, using a grenade launcher isn't really where you want to be in PvE anyways. You probably want to be using something like a rocket launcher or even a sniper rifle. And although grenade launchers are getting a buff with the March 27th update, so are sniper rifles, and so are some other things. So I just don't foresee this being heavily used, and really there's no reason to use this in either aspect, PvP or PvE, of Destiny 2. And so we kind of have a conundrum here. Which is the best prize weapon? Well, frankly, none of them are really that good. They just aren't. They're all beaten out by what's already within Destiny 2. And this is really an incredibly potent example of why the loot system in Destiny 2 is so flawed and why the weapon system needs a dramatic overhaul. You can't have an influx of new weapons always be overshadowed by existing weapons because, you know, weapons are so dumbed down in a sense. You only have one main perk and they all have to belong to these very confined archetypes, etc. I could go on, but this isn't the video for that, and I've already made other videos kind of specifying those problems. So again, the question is which one should you pick, and I really don't have a legitimate answer for you guys. All of these weapons are so mediocre, honestly, pick whatever one you want to pick. If I did have to recommend one, I would actually say it would be the Dead Orbit Distant Tumulus, simply because Extended Mags is a very good perk and it's going to constantly give you an increase to your overall capacity as compared to the Alone with the God having kind of a requirement in order to get that increased magazine capacity with landing 3 precision shots, of course. And unfortunately, that's where we end this video. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, found it informative, please remember to help me out by simply rating and especially sharing this video. If you guys want to see more Destiny 2 content similar to this, don't be afraid to slap that subscribe button. Now, if you guys want to get in touch with me and keep up to date with the latest channel activity, the best way is to follow me on Twitter at RickCacus. That's linked in the description down below, as is my Twitch channel, which you can also follow. Again, I hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, have a good day.